Live from KSAT 12. Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
Good morning to you. It's Thursday, February 23rd, and many of us are still fighting allergies this week. But I got a sneak peek at the pollen count, and I think we have a little bit of good news.
Yeah, that'll be good news for a lot of people.
Yes.
And we also dealt with a lot of fog this morning.
Foggy, yes, and we're watching several things on the weather front, so to speak. A cold front, in fact, that'll be headed our way later today, and that's going to cool down temperatures next couple days. We've really kind of lowered temperatures, so we want to make you aware of that. We start off with the fog, though. This is the big story this morning. Fog has been fairly thick. We're starting to see visibility come up. Even at the airport, we're up to about 2 miles after being down to about a quarter of a mile earlier. Mile and a half there in Bernie, and really all these numbers are starting to jump up. So the fog is lifting. The big question now is how much sun will we see today? And I do think we'll see some, which will push temperatures up briefly until that front really cools things down once again. There's a wider view. Cotulla also seeing some fog down there. As far as the airport is concerned, it looks like visibility is much, much better than it was, but still cloudy. 64 degrees, dew point is at 62. That number is about to change. North-northeasterly winds at 10. So it was very dry yesterday. Moisture surged in overnight, and now it's going to go away again. What we're watching is some cooler air up to the north, 30 in Wichita Falls, 23 Oklahoma City, 17 in Amarillo. All that cool air is slowly surging south towards San Antonio, and that brings about the changes as we head into tomorrow. So your KSAT 12-hour forecast, 70 at 11 o'clock, 73 noontime. We'll see if we can shake some of those clouds and get the temperatures up into the 70s. But then by tonight, those temperatures start to fall, clouds fill in, and tomorrow, we've brought temperatures way down. Temperatures will only be in the 60s for highs. It's going to affect the weekend, too. We'll talk more about that here in just a few minutes. But let's get over to Stephen now. How are things looking for the morning commute?
Justin, things have dwindled down here in town as we get a look there at 1604 at Pat Booker. Not a lot of issues out there, but earlier we had plenty of fog, and it's unclear whether or not that fog led to some of the problems we saw on the roadway. We saw crashes, we had congestion, but right now things look like they're moving just fine. And in fact, we do have a clearer shot than what we saw earlier. Now, while things are quiet here in town, unfortunately, things are not looking good out toward I-10 westbound. Here, we have a major crash, and actually, this is reported just a little bit north of Kerrville. Right now, they haven't really pinpointed TxDOT, that is, an area or location or intersection, but again, this is a little bit north of Kerrville, and unfortunately, there are no cameras that would be able to show us the conditions, but we're going to have to keep a very close eye on that spot throughout the morning. Now, let's go ahead and get you back here into town because we do have some problems to talk about. This is an issue reported along I-10 eastbound at Trainer Hale Road. Actually, this is just past 1604, pardon me, on the far east side of Bexar County. Another spot where, unfortunately, there are no TransGuide cameras that could show us the conditions, but we're going to watch that area closely as well. Giving you now a look at our metropolitan area, it does appear that we still have some slowdowns that remain. You could see some of that along 35 heading southbound as you approach 1604 on the northeast side and 1604 on the northwest side as well. But let's check out TransGuide one last time here and show you pretty much, thankfully, it doesn't look too bad on a lot of these shots. And I'm just keeping a close eye on some of these roadways. It does look like we may have had an issue that popped up here along 410 north at Ingram. That also does appear to be some sort of possible crash, really. We'll find out more details, and we'll bring you those updates coming up a little bit later on.
Sounds good. Thank you, Stephen.
Let's look at today's 9 at 9.
Authorities in Orange County, Florida, arrested and charged a 19-year-old man in connection with a deadly shooting spree yesterday. At 3 different scenes, a total of 5 people were shot. 3 of them died. One of those was a news reporter for Spectrum News in Orlando, identified as 24-year-old Dylan Lyons. A motive for the shootings has not been released.
Tensions between Russia and the West are escalating a day before the 1-year anniversary of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. President Biden called Russian President Vladimir Putin's decision to pull out of a key nuclear arms treaty with the U.S. a big mistake. This comes as Putin is working to prop up support for his war among Russians and trying to enlist the Chinese.
The massive winter storm causing chaos in a large part of the country has now turned deadly. There have been deaths reported in Michigan and Arkansas so far related to the weather. Roads and airports are still at a standstill with feet of snow expected in some areas. 135 million Americans in more than 40 states are on alert for high winds, snow, and ice.
A court hearing in Colorado Springs is underway to examine the charges in the deadly Club Q mass shooting. 22-year-old Anderson Aldrich faces more than 300 criminal counts in connection with the November attack, and prosecutors could file even more charges. The judge will decide if there is enough evidence to move forward with the current charges. The hearing will likely run through tomorrow.
Independent vaccine advisors voted unanimously to recommend a 2-dose vaccine for adults at risk of catching monkeypox, which is now known as Mpox. While new cases are down to just about 2 a day, experts worry another outbreak could occur at any time. They want adults who would be at risk during an outbreak who haven't received the vaccine yet to get it.
This year's flu season peaked early and hit children especially hard, as according to newly released data from the CDC, the agency says reported cases of influenza were highest in late November and early December. Flu-related pediatric deaths more than doubled over the previous year, the highest number since the beginning of the pandemic.
Companies can no longer pay off former employees in exchange for their silence. The National Labor Relations Board said the previous rules violate employees' rights under the National Labor Relations Act. While the Labor Board's ruling this week could be appealed, the ruling is effective immediately.
How high will interest rates go? Newly released minutes from the Federal Reserve's last meeting show nearly all members support slowing the pace of rate hikes. However, the central bank policymakers agree they must go higher until inflation is on a path back down to 2%. The Fed's new meeting is March 21st. After the release of the minutes, bond yields rose and the U.S. dollar advanced.
The government can't do much about rising mortgage rates, but the Biden administration still wants to make home ownership more affordable. The federal government is trying to do that by lowering mortgage insurance premiums. It's expected to save home buyers about $800 on financing costs this year for FHA loans. And that's today's 9 at 9.
80 morning headlines. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg is in Ohio looking over the damage from that big train derailment.
Plus a Satan Club meeting after school, but their Satan may not be your Satan. David Sears is here to explain all of this. Okay.
And we need some explanation.
Yes.
Yeah, a little controversy about this club. We'll have that for you in just a second. But first, let's start with this. Nearly 3 weeks after a train derailed, spilling toxic chemicals, causing major concerns for residents of Palestine, Ohio. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg, there he is, right in the middle of all these men, making his way to the scene today, surveying the damage left behind after that disaster. He made his way to the area a day after former President Donald Trump paid a visit, bringing water and even buying first responders some residents' lunch at McDonald's there in Ohio. The residents dealing with rashes, headaches, other health problems. The derailment happened back on February 3rd, and there is major concern about the water, air, and soil around that area. Later today, the NTSB is supposed to announce the official cause of that derailment. A police officer threatens to kill a suspect during a scuffle, and now community activists want the officer fired, and they want criminal charges brought against him. All happening in Jersey Village, that is northwest of Houston. It started out as a routine traffic stop. The suspect pulled over for a broken tail light. He tried to show the officers they wanted him out of the car. He got out. The officer tried to cuff him. He resisted. And listen to what you can hear, the threat. We will play it twice for you because it happens really fast.
I'll kill you.
Oh my God.
You stupid. I'll kill you.
Oh my God.
You stupid.
Now, once again, let's be clear that he did not threaten him twice. We just played it twice because it was so fast. We wanted you to hear it. The suspect is Patrick Royal. He was cuffed, detained, and then given a ticket. The Jersey City Police are investigating. It is an after-school club, but not what you might think. The group is called the After School Satan Club, run by the Satanic Temple. They say it gives students an alternative to Christian clubs. The club is in Pennsylvania. The school says they are not breaking any rules or laws. The director of the club defends it. Some parents not happy.
Although the Christian majority in this country does believe that Satan is a different symbol to us, we do not view Satan as evil. We do not view Satan as trying to, wreak havoc on communities and do terrible things. We look to Satan as a positive symbol.
There are so many parents who cannot make the same choice that I'm making. And if we don't speak up for this type of outlandish disregard to those of us who do have Judeo-Christian values, then when is it going to stop?
We don't have to agree. We don't have to believe the same, but we do have the same rights that everybody else does to these public spaces.
There has been a voicemail threat to the school district's office. The threat referenced the club, so the superintendent says they're going to review the club's use of school property. All right, we've all probably seen it, driving down the road, dog hanging out of the window of a car. Looks like they're enjoying the breeze. But it could all end, at least in Florida. There is a bill in the state Senate that would make that illegal. Experts say the Safety Act would keep Fido's head in the car and that it would prevent anything from blowing into his eye or hurting him or even keep Fido from jumping out of the car. The bill also prohibits dogs from sitting in drivers' laps. It also says it cannot declaw cats. It would limit the amount of time that animals can be tied or chained up, and it would create a registry for animal abusers. There you go. Why do we always refer to a dog that we don't know their name as Fido? Am I the only one that does that?
Maybe it's like the old
I don't know.
books, that refer to the dog,
But I just called that dog Fido like twice.
Yeah,
So.
like he's your friend.
You did. And if he's upset by that, he'll let you know.
Yeah.
I'm sure he will.
You'll get an email from Fido soon.
Doesn't have opposable thumbs, but could probably text you anyway. David, thank you very much. Right now, 9:08, 65 degrees.
It's been almost 6 years since the deadly Ingram Square Shopping Center fire, and it's still going to be a little while longer before the man accused of starting that fire faces trial. Erica Hernandez will join us later in the newscast to explain.
But before that, you may have seen a local artist's work at San Antonio International Airport. Well, now he's getting ready to showcase his work at a new exhibit. Tiffany Huertas is going to share his history after the break. 9:12 from art about his homeland, Rwanda, to paintings tied to the Spurs. A local artist who uses vibrant colors to tell stories is getting ready to showcase his latest work.
Tiffany Huertas takes us to his new exhibit at the Carver Community Cultural Center and to tell us more about how his love for art began. Good morning, Tiffany.
Good morning, Mark and Stephanie. Really exciting work here at the Carver. Now, this exhibit opens tonight, and it's so colorful. Just take a look. It's called Art is Freedom. The artist, Alan Gakwaya, says his love for art began in 3rd grade when his teacher requested he draw for his entire class. And Alan, these pieces are incredible. Good morning, and thank you for joining us. Talk to us about your artwork.
Yes, thank you. So my name is Alan Gakwaya. I've been senator for 11 years now, and now I do art full time for myself, and I'm just very, very excited to share that art is freedom for the exhibition that's going to be up for 2 months, and so this was one of the pieces that I just showed in New York, January 12th. At the Sheen Center, and it's got a lot of different elements. You got the coin that's from where I come from, Rwanda. There's one of the earrings that I broke apart. I put it in there. This is one of the watch I used to have. It's a citizen watch. So I put in citizen of Rwanda and U.S. because now I'm a dual citizenship, which is awesome. And
What does it mean to you to have this exhibit here?
What it means for me to have this exhibition, it's very inspiring. I want to show other artists, other people of color, people just minorities, people come from different areas to really just believe in themselves and really chase their dreams, go after where they want to go after in their life. So.
And as we mentioned, some of your pieces were at the airport. This is one of them, right?
Yes, this is one of the pieces that we used for the San Antonio airport. And it was up for about 4 months, if I believe correctly. So that was a really super inspiring moment because I know a lot of eyes got to see that piece. So. That was really inspiring, and it's got a lot of different elements also that mean something very important to me, like the air cleaner right in the center. That's from my 1978 Toyota Chinook. I've used for I think in 7 states I used, and after I got back, it just kind of give out, and I was like, gonna give you like a new purpose, and now it's a piece of art. So
I love all the messages behind your pieces, and I'm excited to continue to talk to you about this. We're going to show you more of these pieces coming up on the noon show, and again, this exhibition opens tonight, and we're going to have all those details on KSAT.com. We'll send it back to you.
We look forward to it. Thank you, Tiffany.
Thank you, Tiffany. All right, fog's been a big issue around parts of South Texas most of the morning, but the sun is up and we're at 65 degrees.
Yeah, the fog is lifting, and you look at that shot, you can see the sun starting to pop out, blue sky starting to pop out. So it's still going to be a warm day. It's not going to be as warm as yesterday. Yesterday was borderline ridiculous, but we're going to see some cooler weather after today. Things really cool down, so it's a lot of ups and downs here. Let me take you to the map that shows our visibility, and so far, actually, everything looks great now. We had some lower visibility just last hour, but that has improved quite significantly. So we're not going to worry about fog anymore. Still some spots down around Cotulla, maybe in Victoria, but nothing here around San Antonio. And as I just showed you, there's the scene outside. The clouds are breaking apart. The sun is coming out. 65 degrees at the airport. Dew point is at 62. Notice the wind. We've got a northeasterly wind at about 9 miles per hour. That actually picks up some today as a front works its way through the area. Let's talk about temperature extremes. This is pretty impressive. So yesterday in South Texas, Falcon Lake, we got up to 101. Hottest place in the country. Coldest spot this morning, Gillette, Wyoming, negative 33. Quite a contrast, 134 degree temperature difference between the high and the low. That is a huge, huge number. We've talked about the contrast between the really cold stuff up north and really warm stuff where we are. Right now it's negative 25 in Gillette, if you were wondering. So it's warming up some. It is 7 in Omaha, 16 Kansas City, 14 in Wichita. This cold air is starting to plunge into Texas. It's not going to be as cold as it is up around Wyoming, obviously, but this cool air, and it's a very thin air mass here that is working its way south, will eventually work its way into our area. And the big question will be is how much does it affect temperatures? And I think that it will be somewhat cooler tomorrow as that cold air starts to work in. So let's look at the forecast temperatures. By noontime today, probably into the 70s. Temperatures today, despite the fact this front comes through, still probably up around 80 or so. And in fact, I think we'll see some mid-80s down to the south. The cool air kind of follows behind it as we get into tonight. And we're in the mid-50s by tomorrow morning to start. And then the question, again, becomes how much do we warm up? Do we warm up much at all? Right now, we're going to shoot for the mid-60s, but that's cooler than previous forecasts. So just a heads up there. Friday will be cloudy and cool, and we could see a few very light showers with that as well. Here's a satellite picture right now, and you can see some of those low clouds, some of the fog still there. So the southern half of Bexar County is still cloudy. If you're in the northern half, sun is out, and a lot of clouds south and east of town. As we look at the bigger picture with the water vapor, that cool air is spilling south as we showed you. Then we're going to get that overrunning where we get flow out of the Pacific that comes over top of that. So that's why I think we could see some sprinkles, maybe some drizzle as we get into tomorrow. Here's a look at that forecast. And this is 5 o'clock today. Clouds begin to increase as we head into this evening, and then it becomes cloudy overnight. And then we start to add in some of those sprinkly showers here and there. This is noontime tomorrow. Rain chances 10 to 20%. They're not great. It's not going to be important rain. It's just going to be some light sprinkly stuff, but it is going to be around, I think, tomorrow. And then as we get into Saturday, we start off cloudy. And then once we get into the afternoon, there could be a few breaks here and there. That would help temperatures, but I still think Saturday is going to be sort of a coolish day. So let's look at it here in the 7-day. 80, close to 80 today, 64 Friday, 66 Saturday, with morning lows in the 50s. And then we're back up to mid-70s on Sunday as moisture and warmth return. We get another frontal boundary. This brings with it a small line of showers overnight Sunday into Monday. The bigger story will be gusty winds on Monday and dry air, so we'll be back to fire danger probably, and then low 80s Tuesday and Wednesday. But watch out next couple of days. You may want to have your late jacket on standby. It's going to be fairly cool.
You hearing that, Steph?
Yeah, well, just when people are getting used to the warmer weather.
I know.
We'll see. Okay, thank you.
You got it. 920, 66 degrees.
Coming up next, the latest on Councilman Clayton Perry's 2 misdemeanor cases and how a change of venue could help him get a special deal on those charges.
The latest on District 10 Councilman Clayton Perry's DWI and hit-and-run cases. There has been a change of venue. It appears Perry is trying to get into a specialty court for veterans.
Garrett Berinter talked to an attorney who explained how that could help Perry get a special deal on his 2 Class B misdemeanor charges.
Clayton Perry.
Here, Your Honor. When Councilman Clayton Perry first appeared in court a month ago, he was one of many on the docket for Judge Yolanda Huff in County Court 12. But he won't be again.
Instead, both his cases have been transferred here to County Court 6, also known as the home of the Bexar County Veterans Treatment Court.
Judge Erica Dominguez would not confirm anything about Perry's case or why he was transferred to her court. But the specialty court she oversees has some very clear advantages, with 2 tracks offering probation or ultimately a dismissed case.
Generally, before somebody enters the program voluntarily, they're going to be given an offer that will avoid any type of conviction on their record.
The Veterans Treatment Court was set up to help vets who suffer from PTSD, traumatic brain injuries, mental illness, or addiction, providing more leniency in exchange for going through its program. Though DWI attorney Joe Holscher, who is not affiliated with Perry's cases, says not every veteran can get in.
It has to be a service-related disability linked to the drinking or substance abuse. It cannot be somebody going out and having a good time.
That's a line you might remember from body cam video of the night Perry's accused of driving drunk and fleeing a crash scene.
I had a good time.
The councilman retired from the Air Force in 2000, more than 2 decades ago. It was not clear if he's been accepted for the VTC, which is up to the district attorney's office. Even if he doesn't end up on the specialty court side, Holscher says the councilman would still be on Judge Dominguez's regular docket instead of Judge Huff's, who, he points out, has been quoted in the Express News about DWI needing to be punished more harshly.
His attorneys have done a great job. They've moved him from a court that would be tough into a court that would be easier, regardless of what happens with the VTC.
Perry's attorney declined to comment. The councilman is next scheduled to appear in court on March 9th. Garrett Berger, KSAT 12 News.
9:25, 66 degrees. There's more ahead on GMSA at 9.
Including how you can save on airfare if you're planning on taking a trip for spring break. Plus, we'll look at some of the best places to travel to this year.
Before that, a breakdown of what's going on in the trial for a man accused of starting the deadly Ingram Square shopping center fire back in 2017 that took the life of a San Antonio firefighter. Court reporter Erica Hernandez is standing by. She joined us live here in the studio after the break. A San Antonio man accused of starting a deadly fire that killed a San Antonio firefighter almost 6 years ago has had his trial delayed again.
Iman Johnson is now looking at a trial date possibly in the next 6 months. And our court reporter, Erica Hernandez, joins us now to talk more about this case. Good morning.
Good morning,
Hi, Erica.
guys.
Give us a quick recap of this case because it has been a little while now.
Yeah, it's 6 years. This May will actually be 6 years where that Ingram Square fire took place. Remember, this was the huge fire. It went 4 alarms. And that was the night that firefighter Scott Dean was killed trying to put this fire out. 2 other firefighters were injured as well. There's Scott Dean there. At the time, we didn't know. We thought this was, one of those fires that just starts maybe electrical. But then this was in May, October of that year, it was announced that Iman Johnson had allegedly intentionally set his gym was a business within that shopping center, and he may have intentionally set this because he was behind on his lease there and was going to lose his gym. So this is a case that is, like I said, been going on, been in the courts. We keep thinking we're going to go to trial 1 year or the next year, and it just hasn't happened yet.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking about when it happened, why is it taking so long to go to trial?
So at first we expected this trial to go up in 2020. COVID happened. There was that delay. Then it was supposed to start last year. There was another delay. It was supposed to be last September. Didn't take place. It was delayed again for February of this year. In November of last year, his attorney was appointed an associate judge position. So then they had to find him a new attorney. So now that attorney has now just gotten 200,000 files of discovery that he has to go through before this case. So this is a big case. Judge is even saying it's going to take about 5 weeks just to get through it. So it's very intricate. He's facing up to 5 charges. I think, yes, 6 years is a long time, and it is one of the rare ones when it just hasn't happened yet. But it is also a very big case. He's facing 5 different charges. And I think the district attorney's office want to make sure they have it right. Mm-hmm. I was told there's possibly more than 50 witnesses involved, so that's a lot of wrangling of people as well and making sure they could all be there at that certain. time.
Was that saying that the wheels of justice turn slowly, sometimes painfully slow?
In this case, for sure.
Yeah. All right. So I know you talk to the clerks and judges all the time. What are some possible trial dates here, Erica, and when will a date be finalized?
So the two dates they're looking at right now is September 18th and October 10th, which is why we say 6 to 7 months from now. That gives the attorney about enough time to go through all that discovery. They will go back next month, late next March, and talk about what two of those dates make sense. And that's when we should finally have a date set and finalized. I don't think there would be another reset after this one. I think this will be the final date and that we will go to trial in early fall.
Thank you, Erica. And for more information on the case and all of our court coverage, you can go to our open court page on our website, and also you can sign up for the newsletter. Again, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Erica. Let's go outside with live cam. I'm not even a meteorologist, and I get peppered with questions all the time. People asking, are we done with the really cold weather? Can I plant anything yet? Can I buy flowers? What's it like for you going to the grocery store these days, Justin?
It is, it's tough. We get that question a lot too. And it is a great question. It's not one that we can easily answer, other than I can tell you, chances are we're probably done with the really cold stuff, but there's always a chance you can get some of those bigger cold fronts in March. We don't see anything immediate that is headed our way, and our average last freeze is in late February. I want to show you the pollen count, and everything's low today. We still have that laundry list. Mold, ash, hackberry, elm, mulberry. Basically, trees and mold continue to be the issue, but they're all light, so nothing too much to worry about there. This is going to be an important map today as we look at the colder temperatures up to the north. 17 in Amarillo, 30 Wichita Falls, 23 right now in Oklahoma City. That cold air slowly oozing south. We're not going to feel it probably until tonight, and even then we're not going to feel the coldest of it, but it does cool down as we get into tonight and tomorrow with cloud cover and cooler temperatures. Right now, the fog is lifted, 65 degrees at the airport. Sun is trying to shine through there with northeasterly winds at about 9 miles per hour. Here's your KSAT 12-hour forecast. 70 at 11 o'clock, 73 noontime. I think we do see some sun this afternoon, which will help to boost temperatures close to 80. But then tonight, clouds fill back in. That cooler air starts to really work in on those northeasterly winds. And tomorrow will be significantly cooler. We're going to take a look at that forecast, get you set for the weekend too, and talk about our next front, which heads our way Sunday night. That's coming up here in just a couple minutes, guys.
Thank you, Justin. Let's look out there with TransGuide. Not a whole lot going on, although you can see a little bit of a holdup here at I-35 at Olympia, but I think this is just kind of the normal traffic flow in this area.
Yeah, Stephen said there's nothing really going on out there. It's just pretty heavy traffic flow, I-35 north and southbound right there at that construction near Olympia Parkway. All right, is it time for America to adopt a 4-day work week? The results are in for our UK pilot program, adding to the growing body of evidence revealing that a shortened work week could be life-changing for employees.
It's also proving to be beneficial for companies as well. CNN's Chris Wynn explains why researchers are calling their study a success.
There's a revolution happening in the workplace.
Why are we still working 5 days a week? And why aren't we working on our lives?
This week, the nonprofit advocacy group 4-Day Week Global released the results of a 6-month pilot involving around 2,900 workers in the UK, where 61 companies agreed to let their employees work 4 days a week without a reduction in pay.
All around the world, across many industries, we're finding that this model can work.
According to the data, on average, employees reported higher job satisfaction, lower rates of burnout, and less work-related stress. The results also showed most of the companies involved reported no drop in productivity, with 92% keeping the 4-day schedule beyond the trial. Despite this, some human resource experts believe getting more American companies on board could be tough because of competition and the fear of falling behind.
Companies, employees, they want to win. And it is important for them to keep inching their targets higher and higher.
But some psychologists say employee burnout is cause for concern, with more people now prioritizing their mental and physical health, especially post-pandemic.
It's a step in the right direction to find a way to have a more sustainable life and a life that's more worth living.
A potentially game-changing shift in culture and mindset, as some aim to challenge the status quo.
This is about how we as people are looking to work in the future.
In Washington, I'm Chris Wynn reporting.
9:36, 67 degrees. You're watching GMSA at 9.
We are almost to the month of March, and that means spring break is right around the corner. When we come back, how you can save some money if you're planning on traveling during the break, and some ideas of places to visit during that break.
Fresh clips of the mutton busting last night at the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo.
That's cute. I like that you gave a little fist bump and a high five.
I think there was 8 seconds there on the last one. It was
almost
to it.
Hanging on tight.
Did you see the sky last night, guys? There's a lot of pictures coming in, but you can see Jupiter and Venus if you're in the right spot, right near the moon. It was pretty cool. On our KSAT Connect, this is a picture that Mel sent in from San Antonio, actually down near Von Army. Jupiter, Venus, and the moon right at sunset. Very cool. And you would be able to see it tonight if not for the clouds. I think we're going to see some clouds shifting on it tonight. So last night was probably a better night to catch it, but a great shot there. We appreciate it, as always, on our KSAT Connect. And let's go outside for you. We had some sun shining earlier, just a few minutes ago. That has since gone away. We've got mostly cloudy skies now at the airport. 69 degrees. Dew point is at 63. North-northeasterly winds at about 9 miles per hour. Cloud cover is going to be a little tricky today. We still got some clouds hanging on here southwest of San Antonio. Clear skies, mostly clear skies. As you go out west, you will run into a few more clouds as you get south and east of Gonzales, Victoria, down towards Beeville. I think that we will see some sun for a time this afternoon before clouds build back in. 69 Kerrville, 68 in Fredericksburg. We've got 70s for places like Hondo, Pleasanton, Kennedy, and around Bexar County, close to that 70-degree mark. More sun, though, in the northern half of the city. So 68 Helotes, 69 at the airport. A little cooler at Stinson, where it's more cloudy, 67 there. I want to show you the picture across Texas. You know, yesterday we noticed we had some of those gravity waves I showed you southeast of San Antonio. Well, look at this. We're getting them again. This along another boundary, and starting to see some of those cool cloud formations with the gravity waves there, East Texas. So we can see that on the satellite picture. That front we've been talking about right in there. Cool air kind of lags behind it, though. So the cold air is up here across parts of Kansas and Oklahoma, where it's 17 right now in Amarillo. We're sitting here in the 60s. We were in the 80s yesterday, close to 90, and Amarillo's at 17. Kind of hard to imagine, but that cold air is plunging south. 23 Oklahoma City, 30 in Wichita Falls. It's -3 right now in North Platte, -7 in Denver. That front, as I said, kind of on our doorstep. The cold air is still up here across North Texas, but it will funnel down, kind of ooze down into the area by tonight and into tomorrow, and that's when we'll start to feel it a little bit more. So the forecast temperatures today, I still think we get up close to 80 despite this front, 78 to 79 or so here in town. And then tonight is when that cooler air kind of works its way in. 55 degrees to start tomorrow, and I would say jacket may not be a bad idea tomorrow. We're talking low to mid 60s for highs. That's it. Cloudy skies too. We're not going to see a lot of sun. In fact, I don't think we see any sun at all. And on top of that, we could see a few sprinkly showers. Here's the forecast with regards to the cloud cover. This is 5 o'clock today. It does show the clouds starting to build back in, and then we go cloudy overnight into tomorrow. And there's some of those sprinkly showers I was talking about. Not going to add up to much. Not going to get a lot of rain out of this, but could be a little bit damp from time to time. As we get into Saturday, still cloudy. It's going to be hard for those clouds to break up, but I think by Saturday afternoon there could be a few peaks of sun. If we see some sun, that'll help to boost temperatures, but I still think Saturday is going to be sort of a coolish day too. Sunday will be your warmer day as some warmer and more humid air works in. So 64 tomorrow, that's it. 66 on Saturday, and we could even see temperatures a little bit cooler than that in spots. So heads up. 76 Sunday, we get another front through. That brings a small chance of a shower. Then it turns windy. This front does not cool us down, but it brings in the gusty winds and the dry air, which makes for another day of fire danger on Monday. They were in the 80s on Tuesday and Wednesday.
No doubt about that, man. I tell you what, it wasn't even 10 minutes after the newscast yesterday. I was headed north on 281. There was a little grass fire right there. It had just started.
With this drought, we just cannot be careful enough.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Justin. Well, folks, if you've looked at flights lately ahead of spring break and summer travel season, you may have been shocked.
With travel demand sky high, prices are too. CNN's Cole Higgins has a look at how to save on airfare.
If you're trying to plan your next getaway and are looking for flights, heads up.
Travelers are going to experience true sticker shock if they're booking travel this spring or summer.
Haley Berg, the lead economist at mobile travel app Hopper, says U.S. domestic fares are about 20% higher than they were this time last year.
That said, airfare is only about 5% more expensive than what you would have paid pre-pandemic.
And that's the good news.
International travel right now is more expensive than it has been in years.
Demand is soaring for travel to the Asia Pacific region, the last to open to international visitors. Asia airfares are about 50% higher compared to 2019, and prices are up in other regions too.
Airfare to Europe up 15%, airfare to Mexico and Central America up 30%.
So how can you possibly save money on flights? One, Berg says be flexible on when and where you fly.
If you're headed to an international destination, flying on a Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday can save you about $150 per ticket off of weekend prices. Same goes with the destination you're flying to. Oftentimes, we see airfare under $400 or $500 to Portugal. It's a great gateway country that gives you access to more regional and cheaper flights throughout Europe.
2, monitor the price of a trip through an app and you'll be notified when it's the right time to book. Lastly, consider delaying vacations until the shoulder season.
September and October, you can save as much as 30% off some of those peak summer prices.
For Consumer Watch, I'm Cole Higgins.
I told Steph I booked a trip to France with my dad coming up in June, and I'm paying double what I would have paid about 3 years ago. Of course, we're coming out of the pandemic and demand is higher, but speaking of traveling, Going.com, formerly Scott's Cheap Flights, released its list of places to go in 2023.
It focuses on interesting locations that are less expensive than they have been in the past.
Co-founder of the website said they didn't just want to pick the popular spots either. They wanted to choose places they thought were really interesting and had promise for this year.
2 European countries on the list that have recently gone down in prices were Ireland and Portugal.
I've heard both are beautiful, that Portugal is one of the best kept secrets in Europe other than Croatia, and that secret's out. The group also put together a list of places it believes travel is going to rebound, including Japan. They say it's going to rebound in a big way this year. Japan travel there has been cut back over the last few years due to the pandemic. I hear the Japan is clean and the people are friendly.
Yeah, my cousin went and enjoyed that trip. I've never been myself. Some other places on the list include Norway, Tahiti, Nova Scotia, and New York City.
All right. Word of caution about New York City. I have a friend who's a world traveler. She loves New York. She went in the last year and she said, to her, it has lost its luster.
Okay.
So maybe pick another location. I've also heard not so great things about Vegas as of lately. But again, depends on who you talk to. I trust the travelers that were telling this.
Yeah. I went in May last year to New York City.
To New York, and you guys had a great time.
We loved it.
Good,
yeah.
good. Well, for the more adventurous, there are some less well-known places on the list, like
Albania.
France is not on the list.
No, it's not.
Also, Laos and Lithuania as well. So some other places on Going.com's list of where to go in 2023. What was that one country again?
Yeah, we didn't sell it like we should have.
Okay, one more time.
Albania.
There you go. Perfect.
There you go.
Justin, do you want to try France? France.
There you go.
Not bad. We'll work on it. We've got a couple minutes because we're going to go to break. 9:49, 68 degrees.
And when we come back, the importance of knowing CPR and how that knowledge helped 3 young boys save their father's life.
9:52, 3 brothers in New Jersey came to the rescue of their own father after he collapsed from a heart attack.
As ABC's Will Gans reports, their quick thinking likely saved his life, and now the 3 boys are being honored for their actions.
This is the Hart family, a fitting name not just because James and Yatunde will celebrate 20 years of marriage this spring, but because of the heroics of the couple's 3 sons.
They said I had the widowmaker, that I had a heart attack, and that I had full blockage in that one particular artery.
Daniel, Sam, and Gabriel Hart coming to their dad's rescue.
There are a couple sides.
I was there. I should tell the story.
Dan and Gabriel were on the ride home with their father, who had just coached their basketball game, when he nearly collapsed while driving.
Now as he's getting in, he trips over and he stumbles and he falls on the walkway, on the concrete.
And so we got him in. I then did chest compressions.
I called the 911 and they said, "What's your emergency?"
Luckily, the older boys knew CPR. Daniel learned in middle school.
Less than 3% of the population actually knows this stuff. So if you're in a restaurant with, let's say, 35 people, you're it. You're the only person that knows what to do.
Our friends at the American Red Cross reminding us.
Compress the chest to a depth of at least 2 inches and a rate of between 100 and 120 compressions per minute, or about 1 every half second.
So if more teenagers took an interest and actually said, you know what, I want to make this more than 3%. I want to be the one in that restaurant that actually knows what to do, because none of the adults or most of the adults don't know what to do. They retain the information so well, even more so than adults sometimes.
Within 4 minutes of Daniel performing hands-only CPR, police were at the doorstep.
So we immediately started CPR. Kyle started the chest compressions. I put the defibrillator on him and then the oxygen.
James Hart has no recollection of any of this, but his sons do. On Wednesday, the boys honored with certificates for their quick action.
The kids were awesome. The kids were fantastic.
Jason from Fun CPR says young people can start learning to perform effective CPR around age 10. Teachers can even invite CPR instructors to give lessons via Zoom these days. But instead of Staying Alive by the Bee Gees, young people might better remember Crazy in Love by Beyonce as a compressions per minute guide. You know, makes sense, I guess. Will Gans, ABC News, New York.
I'm sticking with Staying Alive.
Cool.
Yeah. Same.
Speaking of staying alive, Spurs try to stay alive as the season starts to wind down. I think there's like 23 games left in a regular season.
Sounds about right.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And their rodeo road trip continues, so they're mounting up and riding again. So tonight, it's the Dallas Mavericks. They're trying to end a 14-game losing streak. And then it's off to Utah for 2. One of those weird things where they play Utah, then they stay in Utah, then they play Utah again.
Right.
And then they come home because the rodeo road trip will be over. So we'll see.
Is this the first time we played the Mavs with Kyrie? To your knowledge? I think so too. Yeah.
It just happened. So we'll see how that. Luka's got him a buddy. And Kyrie, we'll see how that works out.
Kyrie, so far so good. We will see, David.
Yes. Good luck with that.
Thank you, sir. Coming up tomorrow on GMSA at 9, they are still riding at a rope and at the rodeo.
Yeah,
that's right. And we're going to tell you how a local college has teamed up with Texas A&M to make it easier for ag science students to transfer.
So here's what happens. So if you're an ag science student and you go to Palo Alto College and you have the dream and desire to go to Texas A&M, they've streamlined the process. Thank you. They've streamlined the process for you. So you get your associate's degree at Palo Alto, and then you head off to A&M. But a lot of the credits will transfer. A lot of the paperwork is kind of done for you. And staying at home has a major advantage, and we'll tell you what that is. That young lady right there is one of the students who goes to Palo Alto right now, but she's headed off to Texas A&M.
Very
to
good.
Continue her career. So you get the associate's, the 2-year degree, and then you go off to A&M. But they made it easier.
Great plan. All right, David, thank you.
Thanks for joining us today.
Have a great day, everybody.
Good night.